Yes, people, back here today with another episode of Reading Between the Lines. So I wasn't even planning to drop this episode, but the gratitude and the gravity of what has happened and what's taking place in the world currently, as we've seen, Derek Chauvin guilty sentence, something I had to talk about, I had to express being a young black person, and there's no structure, there's no plan for what I want to say here, but more of me uploading and offloading my feelings and getting it off my chest, really, to spread that across and make other people feel as though they're not alone. So I don't want to get into the encounters too much, but there was a whole uproar. The world really saw on a phone what was plain sight murder, and for me, as a young black person, it hit me, and everyone else had their own feelings as to how it affected them. But I honestly seen it with my own eyes that someone was killed because they were the same color as me. What if that was me? I have family in America. What if that was my cousin? And that consistently plays on my mind even to today when I do speak to him and he tells me, he says, you know what? They don't mess around. When police stop him, first thing he does is he drops the front windows, the back windows, and he just wants to feel safe, and he's fearing the worst. And so you should, and we could all sit here now, I could sit here now and talk about so many more cases, and there's been no further action, no positive, no good has come out of it for the victims and the families, victims of some things that are plain wrong. And I feel as though being a black person, I'm in a world today where I have to fight for, not even equal rights, civil rights, things that we have been fighting for years on end. And I like to ask the question, I'm only doing this video now because I speak about positive messages and I speak about becoming the best version of yourself. And this is what I mean when I say bouncing statistics. I don't feel as though me as a black person, I'm meant to succeed. I'm meant to become the best version of me. And that's why I push so hard to see others become the best version of themselves. And I could talk about all the stop and search data. I spoke about it many times, but I didn't want this to be a video. I just wanted it to be a video and a message where you can understand how someone's feeling. Seeing that video, was it something to celebrate? Yes, it was. But why should I praise a fish for swimming? We all seen the video. It was murder. I expect no other ordeal. I expect no other outcome. But yet, we all sit here and we're all happy. We're all glad that the outcome was a guilty on the 3 counts. But why? Isn't this the bare minimum? Isn't this what should be happening? But because we've not been receiving this treatment for so long, it's not something that we've come to expect or we look forward to actually seeing as an outcome. And it took for everyone to riot, and you can come to your own conclusion of whether you think riots or protests, they're both different sides of the spectrum, really. Whether you think they do any good or they do more bad than good, that's up to you. I think a lot of the time, peaceful protests personally don't always work, because once you kind of cut into an agenda and affect somebody financially, that's when I think we see change. Just like as we see with the Super League, money's got involved now. It's getting nipped in the bud. UEFA, FIFA stood out, said, no, this cannot work. It's not going to happen. And just like that, it's nipped in the bud. But when we've seen racism, we've all been taking knees peacefully for so long, and we still see these same encounters again and again and again and again. And I'm not sitting here and I'm not standing here talking to yourselves asking for sympathy. I just want people to understand what it feels like to be a young black person growing up in today's society. Understand, we check our phones and we see many people that look just like us dying because of the colour of their skin. The Zong massacre, I think it's over 150 people were thrown off the ship. The argument was never, when it went to court, it was never, was it murder? It was about who's liable for the cost of these slaves. And we're growing up in a world where I think the younger people need to understand their greatness. That's why I speak. The younger people need to know where they're coming from, who they are, what their capability is and what their capacity is. because in society there's so many barriers to success, and this is one that we've seen so blatantly. I'm sure there's been over 15,000 killings and murders in America, but I'm sure, correct me if I'm wrong, only 8 have actually been prosecuted and charged, should I say. So 8 people. Do the math. But we're going to get happy. I'm not happy yet until I see a serious sentence, until I see, you know what? Because when it was mandatory minimums and you was having this war on drugs, as you called it, and you decimated households, you were mass incarcerating black people for minuscule amounts of drugs, where often a lot of it was put into these societies as a trap. You wasn't halting then, you were quick to say enough is enough, it's time to sit down, it's time to pay your debts, shall we say. So right now I want to see debts being paid, and I hope this acts as a deterrent to say to other officers, no, you can't just take a life because you've had a bad day. And I know we've seen another case, mistaking a taser for a gun. Murder's murder, it's manslaughter, I don't care what it is. The sentence has to be the sentence, but how long does this consistently go on for? How long does it keep happening? And we're going to talk about the UK isn't racist and there's no problems, and the UK had the audacity to put out this report and say it's fine, we're a model country. The fact that they had the cheek to even put this out to the country and the world with such confidence and force and strength behind what they were saying shows the audacity of the people behind these measures. I'm not saying I want a head start, even though there's been reparations for not long ago. I'm not saying I want a head start. I'm just saying I want an equal foot. I want an equal playing field. I want to know that my kids are going to grow up in a world where they can become whoever they want to be. My niece said to me she wants to be an astronaut, and this is a little dream of mine. And I thought to myself, I'm going to do everything in my power to help her get there. And she doesn't even know this yet. She's 8. And I thought, what's the likelihood of her even being able to become an astronaut? Not to say that the jobs are very limited, but as a young black female from Birmingham, England, is there a higher chance of winning the lottery? And I don't want to get negative. I just really want to see there's so many kids we started mentoring in schools, and there's so many children that are writing off these kids from before they're even starting. The syllabus isn't tailored to these young adults. And I like to call them adults because a lot of them are wise in the mind. People don't understand the capabilities. And this is the message I get across. When you come from the mud and you have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. I'm all in with this. I'm all in because, as I say, it's bouncing statistics. They don't want me to have this. They don't want me to be the person I can be. Yes, there's little representation, but I want to be that person that represents for the next generation. I want to show the little kid, yeah, you can be a footballer. Yeah, you can go do music, but yeah, you can go be an accountant. Yeah, you can go be a judge if that's what you want to be. I want to see representation in all facets of life. COVID-19 disproportionately affecting black people. Why is this? Why are these things consistently happening? And I'm tired, and I could ramble on here and I feel as though I had a lot more to say, and I can't even remember what I wanted to say anymore because I feel as though I'm tired of this. I'm getting numb to this. And we step into these environments and it's consistent. I've been working with the police. We delivered training recently, and they were kind of taken back by the mindset of the communities. And I said, imagine I'm a community member here who's willing to talk to you and deliver a training session. So imagine how I must feel. I must, in terms of how you want to see it, must be more readily available to have that conversation than others, because I'm here giving this training today. And they were taking some things back, and I started to think to myself, I wanted to say, listen, the statistics don't lie. People of colour who look just like me, who are going through everything I've been through, are simply being those ones disproportionately affected. I just want to see the younger me's become the best version of themselves, because I don't feel as though as black people, we understand our superpowers. I don't think we understand how great we actually are. The colour of our skin is beautiful. It's amazing. queens and goddesses in their own right. Every time they smile, you speak, you laugh, your hair, it's amazing, it's beautiful. And I think society is pushing us all to diminish ourselves. We go to work and it's not professional. You see kids at school cut your afro, but that's the way your hair grows. And I'm tired. I'm going to keep pushing until I see this change. And I hope that with this sentence here, with the charging, shall I say, I hope when he gets sentenced, it isn't to a measly 5 years, 6 years. And I'm not a big advocate of people sitting in jail cells for the rest of their lives. However, an example needs to be made. Officers need to know this can't go on. You must have the mental solitude to control yourself and not want to take lives for very, 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 very little reason. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, as we know, there would be no second chances. It would be locked up, throw away the key. And for me, I'm sick, I'm tired, and as I said, I wanted to come and say so much more. My mind's gone blank. But the society and the way it's set up, I said it before, catch-22 homes. Say you're a young girl, I know a lot of people can probably relate. Young, 21, had a child, and you're in a so-called deprived area, which people like to call ghetto. You're in this area, and what if you want to go to a better school? You want to take your child to a better school. How can you do that if you can't afford to move house to go to a better school? And it's a cycle. But what traits and how are you expecting your children to grow up? What is the outcome? What are you expecting if they're in these so-called ghettos once again? And they're only going to turn out one way once again to coincide with the notion of ghetto. And who are these ghetto people? They tend to be black people who are being oppressed, looked at as though they are doing certain acts wrong, when really the crime level doesn't change depending upon what area you are in. It's just, as I said, there's a war on certain crimes, on these drugs, and they call it a war to make it seem as though it's so exponentially crazy and this is what needs to happen, this is what needs to change, and they allude to this is what's tearing down society, we need more policing. And I'm not saying that as black people, people of colour, people of ethnic minorities, that we can't do better. But if that's the case, teach us how to be better. Teach us some sustainable things at schools. You know, how to run a business, how to file taxes, how to become a model citizen, because this is the issue for me. I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that you have a lot of children in these homes of poverty. If their parents aren't rich, how are they learning these lessons to become the top 5%? Where are they getting them from if you're not teaching them at school? But let's say a lot of the other kids who are better off, just simply statistics again, the likelihood of them learning these lessons is a lot higher. So once again, we're at a disadvantage. So teach us these things. And this is why I'm on this mission to really push these kids to be the best version of themselves. And I say, like when I speak to my mentee, I say to him, listen, you're sitting around giving 30%, 40%, 50%. This is what they want you to do. There's no second chances here. You're not going to get a golden ticket. Life doesn't work this way. And it's going to become in 5-6 years, you're going to go, I wish I'd done this. And I'm here to tell you this. This is the power of what I believe in. And if there's a message that anyone here can take away, when you see another person today, just smile at them. We're starting to look at each other and we don't know why we do it. Scowling at our own and looking at them funny and, you know, these type of things here, when really it shouldn't be that way. But once again, the dictionary pushes us and alludes that we should not like our own, you know, blacklist, black hole, black sheep, ugly duckling, all these things that you can think of that you were taught from early. Black's dirty, it's dark, it's evil. But what's white? Peaceful. And I could go on, and it's, you know, pure. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that we need to be more mindful. And I do hope that this position now, this start in society right now, acts as the anchor to say, you know what? There are consequences for these actions because there are people standing up and speaking. But I think Alex said it as well, Alex Morgan, he said it himself. It can't be a trend. It was a trend. It is a trend, but this needs to keep going. We need to keep applying pressure because this can't stop now. It can't. They want us to stop. It can't stop. We're not asking for no more than equality. No more representation. I want to see my people in there. That's it. In a nice proportion and a rate to what's happening in society. But when you look in prisons, it's disproportionate. Everything's disproportionate against black people. But when I have these conversations with the right individuals, nobody can tell me why this is. But, you know, the country's not racist, has the audacity to say these type of things. And once again, I've not got an agenda against anyone. I'm going to push, I'm going to work to see anyone become the best version of themselves. Any colour, because any black, white, green, pink, blue, purple, whatever you want to call it. I'm a man of the people. I'm a human being. So I love human beings, period. But I also love people that look like me and relate to my problems, relate to my feelings every time they turn their phone on and they say, oh, sorry, I know a black person's been killed today. Oh, sorry, you know, someone's died due to negligence. And yeah, I've had some conversations with some higher up figures in the police as well, and they're looking as though they want to make a change. And as I said, it's getting people on board with this mission, understanding that as a collective, as a whole, as human beings, as one race, this has to end. So it just coincides with what I'm always saying. You've got to read in between the lines and stay blessed and keep pushing, pursuing to become the best version of you so you can be the change that you want to see. Yeah, it's easy for us to talk about these things in our armchairs, but why not own the company, have a voice, have a real voice? And we might say, look at Obama, it didn't change much. Yeah or no? I feel disheartened too. Sometimes I lose my faith, but I've got to make this video right now just to talk. It doesn't matter if they don't agree with me, but me talking, if one person listens to you talking, two people listen, it's a process. We're going forward. So for me, that's what it's all about. So keep pushing, become the best version of you. Yeah, when it's time to rise up, stand for what you believe. And if you see things, be willing to put your neck on the line for things that you see that aren't right and aren't fair. And yeah, have a great day. I know it's always difficult, as you can tell, sorry. It might seem as though I'm on a downer, but I'm here. I'm still going to get my work done, still going to grind because I know my mission. But when I think about it and I sit back and I look at the world, it's crazy times to be alive. It's crazy. And as I said, I'm scared for the next generation. I just think there's so many barriers to success and there's so many statistics to bounce. And as I always say, overcoming that misunderstood conception. It's not nice being looked at as though, you know, you're XY, you're a thief, you this. So I've been walking past cars, I lost it, locking the car doors and walking past. Why are you doing that for? I've been to uni, I've got 2 degrees. I'm a co-founder of a company, but that's how you're going to look at me, it's fine. So yeah, whatever society, whatever box they're trying to place you in, remember you can break out of that box no matter what. Keep pushing, become the best version of yourself. You know, I've got to charge up, you know, I can't let this bring me down. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Whatever platform you're listening on, remember follow, like, subscribe at Reid on the Insta. Just keep tapping in, man. Gems to come, gems to come. As I say, reading between the lines, it's a lifestyle. And as you know, powered by bouncing statistics, that's the mission. So yeah, have a great day. Over and out.